or not just, but.
Yeah.
All right, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back.
Have fun. Great time. All right, so I want to talk about the on-call process as far as the newer people and the on-call. We don't want you calling the call center and having them call you, okay? Call center calls, there's also an on-call dispatch person. On-call, anything emergency calls goes to them, and then they contact you. So you just have to be available for the on-call person to call you, because basically that way it goes into our system. They are actually able to dispatch you and arrive you and do all of that stuff. Okay, so you don't need to call anybody. All you need to do is just make sure you're available to answer the phone when you're on call for those emergency type calls. Yes.
So on Saturday, the person that contacted me for the on-call job was Kevin.
Okay.
And he instructed me to call dispatch.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was what I did. So when I called dispatch, will it automatically transfer me to someone from the office, or is it just going to transfer me to our dispatch services?
Okay, so dispatch, there's a dispatch phone,
Yeah.
and if you call the dispatch phone, it's one of our guys. It's either Jared or Omar
Okay.
who will answer the phone. If you call the dispatch, if you just call the answering service, our regular phone number, it may go to the answering service, and then they actually have the phone number for the dispatch as well. So if you call the dispatch phone when you're on call, that's who will answer, or should answer, is dispatch. If you can't get a hold of dispatch, call me. Okay, I'm kind of the backup for that. I can get on my computer anytime, pretty much, except when I'm flying, which isn't very often. But I can pretty much, get on Service Titan and do whatever I need to do. So I'm kind of the backup. If you can't get a hold of dispatch right away, normally when you call them, they have biological needs too. They could be in the bathroom, they could be doing whatever. So, you should get a call back within a couple of minutes of calling them. And we understand the same thing with you. So if you get a phone call from dispatch and you're in the bathroom, obviously we're not expecting you to bring your phone to the bathroom, even though some of you probably do. But the idea, within a few minutes, call them back and let them know, hey, I'm ready I missed a call from you, what's going on, that type of thing. Okay?
So what happened was, I wasn't so much waiting for a call back, but when I called, no one, of course none of us picked up, but it just kind of routed me to the dispatch service. So I don't know if I called like the right number, or if I directly called the dispatch.
Okay, so what number did you call? Let's make it easy on it.
Okay.
And make sure we have the right phone. Because the dispatch phone is basically, when you call the regular line that you can find on the internet, which is the 949-458-6600, that is not the dispatch phone.
Right.
That is our phone that will go to the answering service after hours, but it's the one that dials in. The customer would normally dial in here. Whenever we use that phone number and it goes to the answering service, it costs us $35 every time they pick up. It costs us $35.
The number I called was 844.
Wrong number.
211-3387, which is the same number that I receive text messages from.
Okay, so there's
dispatch.
a dispatch phone and there's an on-call phone. Okay, so let me see which one you said. Which one is it?
844-211-3387.
Okay, so Iggy, what phone do you have for on-call phone? The on-call phone.
Actually, the only phone number I have is the dispatch one.
Which one?
949-351-5354.
That's
What
what I have.
do you have?
I have like 3 different phone numbers.
When you're on call, which one do you call?
See, there you go. When I'm on call, I call all of them.
Which one is?
Except for the main line, and if no one answers, I call you.
Okay. So, all right. So the dispatch one, there's a dispatch phone and an on-call phone. okay? So the dispatch phone stays in the office on the weekends and at night. But it's the phone that you guys call in during regular business hours. That number is 949-351-5354. Okay? That's the dispatch phone. That's the one that's only during regular business hours, other than you call in the regular phone number that belongs to the company. That's the dispatch phone. So there's also an on-call phone. Okay, the on-call phone is when you are on call. That phone number is 949-861-0920. That's the on-call phone number,
I had that as main dispatch. Okay.
because that's the on-call.
Omar.
What's that?
Before it was Omar's phone number.
Right. So Omar was the only one that would be on call then, at that point, but now it's either one of the two. Either Jared will have it or Omar. So it's not Omar's phone, it's the on-call phone.
So that's 949-861-0920?
Yes. So that's the number that you would call if you need to talk to somebody, you know, who's on call. And they get into Service Titan, they'll be available for you. The dispatch phone is the one that you call during the week, during regular business hours. That phone stays in the office. So even on Saturdays, up until noon, like when we have somebody working in the office, usually Dennis right now, he has that phone as well as the regular phone, that not the on-call phone, but just the dispatch phone, and plus he'll answer the regular phones that customers happen to call in on. Does that make sense? So we have two numbers: the dispatch phone, which is dispatch during the week, regular business hours, and the on-call phone, which makes sense, it's after hours, weekends, those type of things. Okay? So we need to make sure that if you need to get a hold of someone during the on-call or after hours, that's the phone call that you would call. And that's who should also call you. So when you put in your phone, I have mine just like that. It says on-call phone, Kalka Plumbing, and the other one says dispatch phone, Kalka Plumbing. Yeah.
That's the phone that I get all of my dispatches from,
Which one?
on call.
Okay. That's fine.
Even during the week, and so I always had that as just as main dispatch.
They're both capable of texting, so it depends on who's on call. So Jared right now he was on call last week. They rotate weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He actually left it at home tonight, so on the on-call phone he will be getting, he gets to be an extra on-call tonight because he left it home.
Do the dispatches naturally forward through that phone then? Was my question.
No, there's a dispatch phone.
My dispatch text messages, basically, going back as far as I can find, all come from our on-call dispatch phone.
I don't know, they could use either one. They can use either one.
Alright.
So if they're happen to using that one, that's fine, but either one of those phones, the on-call or dispatch, are the ones that they can both text, so.
Is that number 844?
The dispatch phone?
Yeah, 844-211-3387.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dispatch one I have is 949-351-5354. That's the dispatch phone that they usually keep in the office here.
Ah.
Okay? So I'm not sure if you received text from that number as well, but you could.
I have.
Okay,
I've texted it before.
okay, so those are the two phones, one's dispatch, one's on call. Okay, so hopefully everyone knows what that is, and going forward, we won't have any issue. But you don't need to call the answering service. If you can't get a hold of the on-call phone during the on-call hours, you call me. That's it. I'm the second part of that. And I will answer my phone anytime except when I'm sleeping, which will normally be from, let's say, 11 p.m. until 5 a.m. Other than that, or if I'm in the bathroom, but I'll call you back usually within minutes. So you don't have to worry about that. The third person to call would be Kevin. So if you can't get a hold of the dispatch phone, I mean, give it a couple of minutes. Don't expect it like boom, necessarily, because like I said, we all have, sometimes I'm in my back room and I gotta go into the house. I've been actually outside in my backyard and the phone rang. I couldn't get to it fast enough, but I still call back within a couple minutes. Okay? And that also goes for those of you, when you are on call and you have a question, or you need me to role play with you, that type of thing, that's, you just call me directly on that. You're not gonna call dispatch phone or the on-call phone for that. But if you needed me to role play, the role playing works really, really well if both people know what's going on. If both people don't know what's going on, it could be, the opposite. And normally what I like to do with, when it comes to the before the role play call, is you have that conversation. Hey, I'm on my way over to a water heater call. This is how I'd like to do it. And then you tell them. So sometimes it's going to be, hey, I don't want to go any lower than X price, or I'm going to start at X price and I want to get Y price, whatever it is. So one of the things that when Anthony went to one of his calls last week, I think it was during the early part of the week before I left, obviously. It was a tankless water heater, and we kind of set it up ahead of time. I knew what was going to go, how he was going to do it, right in front of the customer. Did the whole thing. We hadn't been to that customer in like 14 years. She had a tankless water heater, and we knew what she spent for it and the whole deal. So it was really easy for us to do that and get the deal. I heard of another one that comes in, and for an example, if Kevin answers the phone and he doesn't know what the game plan is, you may bring a price in and he says, no, we can't go any lower than that. He's just basically trying to validate your pricing, so he thinks. It could be a lot of different things. And also, Kevin, you got to think about it. If Kevin doesn't have the numbers right in front of him, or hasn't done the gross margin calculator to know what we're going to make on it, he may be kind of stumped or whatever as well, and then the call won't go as well. So you guys have got to be really, it's got to be planned a little bit ahead of time until we get to know how you work as far as that's concerned. Because Ryan may go out there and say, hey, I've already talked about a higher price and then I lowered it to this. I just need a validation of that price, right? Anthony may go out and say, I'm going to start at this price, but I want to show that I'm being a good guy and give it a little bit lower price, so that's what I'm trying to do. And if both people don't have all the sides of that game, so to speak, it's not going to work.
Kind of backfires a little
It can
bit.
backfire. Doesn't mean you won't get the deal, but it can backfire.
It did.
Okay, so I'm just explaining that because, I do things a certain way, and Anthony, I know, is familiar with how I did it because we both worked in the same company, different locations, but the same company, and that works. I see that works well for me, and usually my techs. You start off at a higher price, and then you're the good guy, and I'm saying, sometimes there's a little back and forth, but you ask basically, hey, this customer's been around, long-time customer. Can we give him? Can we bring this down? What can we bring it down to? But him and I have already talked about that number ahead of time, or at least a real close range. And I sit there for a minute. I'm hitting keys on my up and down arrows on my keyboard, just because sometimes I'm actually going in. If we hadn't talked about it ahead of time, then I may go in and actually do a gross margin calculator, and the number may not be quite as good as he wanted, but I'm going to try to give him something because I know that's what he's looking for, because that's how the conversation was planned, right? So it's really good to let both people need to know ahead of time where you're going to go, where you're going to start, and where you want to end at. So that's on that part of it. A couple of other things. I did want to remind everybody that Thursday the 30th, we have the all-team meeting from 7:30 in the morning until like 11:30. It's 4 hours, okay? The guys from Everest are going to come and talk about that whole program that we're going to be doing, which is very similar to what Anthony and we just did when I'm talking about Anthony and I's role play, but there's more to it than that, and it's obviously it's a 4-hour class. It's really good information. It'll work for both sides, the plumbing and the heating and air. It was designed specifically for heating and air, but there's programs very, very similar in the plumbing industry, and my goal is for all of us to use this program because I feel it will bring us to another level by the end of this year, which is our goal. We need to do about $3.2 million this year, 2020. We did under 2 last year. So we're going quite a big jump, and we can do it if we all follow the program. Yeah.
I know I've been here a short time, and I'm not trying to be insulting or anything. I've noticed we do have a lot of existing customers, but not a lot of new customers coming in. Are we doing any kind of marketing or?
That's something that will be happening, but right now we're in the middle of a couple of things that are, we can't do the marketing until these things come into place. First thing, our website, which we had a custom website done that we're just waiting for it to go live. And then, because they're basically doing SEO, search engine optimization for that website, is what we're gonna be paying for. So if we start doing too much right now, it's gonna go the wrong direction, so we have to kind of focus on that. And then also, we're changing to House Call Pro. House Call Pro, instead of Service Titan, when that change comes over, shortly thereafter is when everything's gonna happen, but we have to also have this plan in place that we have here. We have over 500 HPCs, okay? Right, when we're using our HPCs and doing our other programs, just that part of it right, and going to do water heater flushes and selling that way, there's plenty of money out there for that right now. Our goal is to add on to those, and when the process comes in and we've all got that down, then more marketing can be done, because we're not gonna waste marketing dollars on doing things the way we've been doing them previously. This last year has not only been a learning experience for me, it's kind of told me there's a lot of stuff that we need to work on to be better and to get to that $3.2 million plus. And we can spend all the marketing dollars in the world, but if we basically just throw those leads away, we're just throwing money away. And that's basically what's happening. So you've been in this commission type of thing before, so you kind of understand it. These guys were kind of, before me, were in a different type of pay structure. They got like a bonus if they got a certain thing, and I mean, it was a weird thing. I started implementing this last year, the commission plan, and now that they're getting used to that, they have to get used to making the best out of every call. And I'm not trying to throw names in a bad way, this is in a good way. So Renards, for an example, Renards has changed the way he does things he may not think so, but I see it in his numbers. He actually sells more at those HPC jobs than he used to prior to me being here. And that's what I try to track, is see, when I send you out to calls, how many calls do you go out and what are you actually getting money for, other than just doing an HPC and walking away. So Renard's numbers have gone up, and he's kind of been adjusting himself to make that happen and get better and better. So that's got to happen with everybody, and he has even further he can go and make more money on a regular basis, because sometimes he makes good money, sometimes he doesn't, sometimes he does. Once we get more consistent with that and we throw marketing dollars out there, we're only going to have to throw a small amount of marketing dollars in the beginning, and then we can grow our company with more people and add more marketing dollars with that. Because if we just, right now, this last year we threw a lot of money at marketing. We had a website that wasn't doing the right things, and we spent a lot of money doing things we shouldn't have done. But bottom line is, it wasn't working. We were on House Call Pro, we did all kinds of other things that we had all these leads coming in, and we're throwing money away. So there's a lot of changes coming, but they gotta go in kind of steps. So it's gonna probably be a couple of months before you start seeing us spending a lot more marketing dollars, because we have to get from here to here first, and then we'll go to the next step. What a lot of companies do, or try to do, is they spend a lot of money on marketing, and then they realize they don't have the right processes in place, and their people aren't doing the right things with comfort advisors / channel leaders, whatever you want to call them, and they don't have the team set up right, they're not trained right, and then all that money just goes, or most of that money just goes in the trash.
Yeah, they just run calls until they get that one big one.
Yeah.
They don't really care.
Everyone wants a home run.
Yeah.
So you have to understand base hits. You get on base, that wins ball games too, just getting on base. You don't have to keep swinging for the fences. So this process that you guys will see on Thursday will hopefully, open up some things that you haven't seen before, and improve even better on the amount of money you can make and should be making, because you guys all have the ability to make a ton of money in a commission-based deal. And when you make money, we make money. So it's kind of a hand-in-hand type of thing. Unlike hourly people who, they make all the money no matter what. They make, $25, $30 an hour, whatever it is, and we're not making anything necessarily, because we got to pay them if they're working or not. When they understand how they can make money, and they actually do that process, follow that process to the T, they start seeing the potential out there, and everyone wins. So that's what this is all about. And I don't want to go into too many details, because I don't want to ruin the thunder that they're gonna bring. But so those are things to come. And for my trip in Texas, just to give you guys a little bit of brief things, and I'm going to talk about a little safety topic as well. But I will say that we went through a lot of information on one of the days, which was really just them explaining why the Amana product is better. So, based on what I see, their warranty is second to none. Nobody has a warranty like them. They actually have a lifetime warranty on the 16 SEER and above heat exchangers and coils. Nobody else has that.
Especially on coil.
Yeah. And it's not transferable or nothing like that. It's for the original owner. And I think the reason they do it, in my mind, is number one, I've seen we did the tour of their facility, and they have more testing, and it's all done with U.S. made. I mean, they're making it right there in front of us. The place was huge. It's like 4.2 million square feet, this building. I mean, huge. Plus it has a second floor. So just the base of it is 4.2 million square feet. It's humongous.
Could we sell them an AC unit?
Believe me, they have all they need. But they showed us all the different features that they have that nobody else has. They have their technology on their heat exchangers are, they're not the clamshell type. They have this kind of a bend that creates turbulence inside the heat exchanger, which mixes the gas better, gives it a better flame. Just less cracking, less, it's just awesome technology. They have a lot of other little things that they add that no one else has, and they have a new thing that they're adding now that is going, and I think it's called Comfort something. I can't remember the last word of it, but basically what it allows is any of the smart, if you want to Nest, if you want whatever thermostat you want, you don't have to use a proprietary thing for their system. It basically allows you to use anything. So if you want to use any of the ones you guys have used in the past, including Nest or whatever, it will interface with that. And basically they have, they're constantly improving and making better. But you guys would have to kind of see, they have a PowerPoint that they're sending me that I'll be able to show you guys later. But it's really impressive how much they do there, and the testing that they do. They turn everything on right there. They test it. They pressure it. They have on the lifetime reason they're given lifetime warranties on what I was just talking about. They actually tested their systems so many times over and over and over and over and over again that it would be the equivalent, and without any kind of leaks, lasted 250 years of usage. So that's why they say they can give a lifetime warranty. They're not worried about that. Now they can't keep passing it on from homeowner to homeowner, but if you know that if the average homeowner lives in a home 7 to 10 years, right? Even if a homeowner lived in a house for 30 years, they're comfortable, they're not gonna have that problem. But they can't just keep giving it to over and over and over to different people, because there'd be no end to it.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, it was a pretty awesome tour. They really want our business, and they want us to be successful. And you guys, like I said, coming forward, you'll see some other stuff, because the guys from Geary will come down and do some other trainings as well, and kind of go over some of the stuff that they have in their systems, and what we can use to just basically go to our customers and say, hey, we have this, and nobody else has this. Nobody else has this warranty. They have a 2-year replacement on things that don't have the, on the lower SEER items. 2-year replacement for the coil. I mean, it's amazing what they've done. So,
What company is it?
Amana.
Oh, Amana,
So
got it.
Daikin owns Goodman and Amana. Okay, so they're all basically the same company. That right now, Amana is the one that we're in partnership with. They're all
They're the
made
higher
in
end
the US. Everything is done right there. From the sheet metal, they make their own sheet metal. There's only a couple things that they don't make. They actually ship in, but most of the stuff they're making there. They have these things called dojos, because Daikin, obviously, Japanese company. They have these dojos for brazing, and they actually won bronze. And the 2 guys that win gold and silver every year for the last many years from 2 other companies. But now they actually went to bronze for the first time this last year in 2019. And of course their goal is, and the guys that get gold and silver, they swap off. One guy gets gold this year and silver, then they swap, it's competition. But they have these dojos where they train their people to have, no leaks and everything else from the brazing, and they have to have it in a certain amount of time, and they all get tested really, really well when they're done. And if anybody ever has a failure, because everything is marked, they go on these pallets that basically have a chip on them, computer chip, and they know who made every part on that unit. And so if any part fails, that person goes back into training, into the dojo, until they feel comfortable that they're not gonna make another mistake. So they don't just fire them the first time, they give them an opportunity and retrain them. But all of their systems before they even leave are tested, and they know right then and there before they even come in, are they gonna have a failure? So it's pretty awesome. So for safety, the only thing I'm really gonna talk about is cell phones. And a lot of us still, technology, we have Bluetooth and everything else we're supposed to have when we're driving. We know the law of California, but if you guys need to pull over to be safe, that's what I prefer. If you got a text, if you got a call, if you're on Bluetooth, that's fine, but make sure you're safe. That's the most important thing when you're driving. I see people every day when I'm driving, every day, texting while they're driving and looking down. We just think we're so good. It's not you that I'm worried about all the time individually. It's the other individual that tries to cut you off when you're texting, and that 1 or 2 seconds that you look down is enough time for you to get in an accident because it's somebody else's mistake too.
And it's a moving violation.
It is a moving violation, and you guys, for the company, it's also a big liability. You're in a company vehicle, you should do this. You should just make that happen no matter where you're at. My car now has the voice to text, which a lot of you guys may have as well, and the trucks you don't. So I know you don't have them there, but you shouldn't be texting or checking messages or anything else while you're driving. If you got to pull over, be safe, make your call. I'd rather you do that and then take an extra minute or two where you're going. Be safe. Okay. Any questions? Please get all your timesheets in so I can get payroll done. Appreciate it. All right, let's go.
Thanks, guys.
Don't forget the 30th, 7:30 to 11:30.